right, boys and girls, so now that you've completed a problem with Mrs. Cartwright, number 2, and then Mrs. Cartwright was able to get you started on number 3, you're back with Mrs. Barlow for number 4. So the first thing that I would do is it says, how would you compare the number 2 and the number 5/10? I'm just going to underline those. So you are actually going to compare those, but we need to think about the pieces that we're going to need from our blank decimal cards. So the very first thing I want you to do is I want you to write these numbers down. I'm going to put the number 2 here because it looks like I have 2 places to glue. So the whole number 2. And over here I only have 1 spot to glue, so I'm going to put 5/10. And I'm going to think to myself, well, what pieces from here could I or do I need to use? So if I'm thinking about the whole number 2, I'm thinking about which one of these models I would want to use to represent 2 wholes. And absolutely I would want to use these 2. So I'm going to cut those out. I want you to cut them out. Alright, so you can take some, you might want to shade these before you do any gluing. So the first thing I do is I would shade this in to represent my 2 holes. Because if you glue first and then you shade, your paper will probably rip. So there's one of them. I'm going to go ahead and shade in the second model to match. Okay, I'm going to take my glue stick and glue those in. Alrighty. And now I'm going to think about 5/10. So again, if I'm moving a little too fast for you, go ahead and pause the video, quickly glue. So if I was unsure about what value the 5 had, I would go back to my place value model and I would think about, well, the value of the 5 is in the tenths place, so I'd want to label that tenths. That's my shorthand version, tenths. So it would be best to find a model that's cut into 10 equal pieces. So looking at your models, you have 3 models you can choose from. You have tenths, you have hundredths, or you have one that's divided into thousandths. Again, we want to pick the most appropriate one. So the most appropriate one would be the one that's cut into 10 equal pieces because the 5 is in the 10th place. So I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to cut that out real quick. Give it a quick little trim. And I'm going to shade this to model 5/10. So how would I do that? I would shade in 5 of these tenths. So there's 1. There's 2. 3, 4, and 5. And now that I've got those shaded, I'm going to add some glue. So I have my model. It's going to be your job to go ahead and set it up down here appropriately so that you can line up your place values to place values. Think about how you would write those on your number line to prove that one number is larger than another. And then go ahead and use your inequality signs down here at the bottom to write it 2 ways. Okay? When you're done with your paper, go ahead and put it in your blue folder. That way we're ready to check this on Thursday morning.